Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So yeah, this video I'm going to be talking about all of the Blu-ray and 4K pickups that I got for the month of February 2023. So yeah, quite a fair bit to get through. Only two 4K pickups this month. Not many, both of them are imports, but I'll get to those at the end of the Blu-rays. But yeah, gonna kick it off with a pretty random choice to pick up first, but yeah, picked up Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, the animated one. I remember going to see this at the cinema when it came out, and I had fun with it. Wasn't one that I wanted to pick up straight away, but picked it up the other day. It was fairly cheap off Amazon, so probably won't watch this again until Christmas. But yeah, picked that one up this month just because it was at a good price. So yeah, that is The Grinch. Next up, picked up Beast with Idris Elba. Yeah, watched this month, and I thought this movie was okay. It was just generic blandness for me. Harmless fluff, nothing amazing, but wasn't the worst either. And yeah, just overall thought it was fine. So yeah, that is Beast. Next up, I picked up a movie that a couple of guys I work with were talking about this film, and I hadn't seen it because we were talking about Bruce Willis. And this movie came up and I hadn't seen it, so I decided to pick it up off eBay. It was only a couple of quid, and that is Surrogates. I thought this was a pretty decent little sci-fi movie, to be honest. Really good premise, really enjoyed it, really liked the supporting cast, and overall had fun with this film. It's just absolute tragic what's happening with Bruce Willis at the minute, and I just wish him and his family, the nothing but the best. Yeah, absolutely love the guy. He's just one of my favorite actors growing up, and yeah, this movie went under my radar, and picked it up, watched it, and had a good time with it. So yeah, that is Surrogates. Next up, picked up a movie that recently got a Blu-ray release for the first time. I think hadn't seen it. I picked up Body of Evidence. I heard this is like the Basic Instinct rip-off with Madonna. It had a terrible score on IMDb, but wanted to give it a go, see what it's like, and I actually quite enjoyed it, to be honest. Not a great movie, but one that was very watchable and entertaining, to say the least. And yeah, overall, had a good time with it. Really, really enjoyed this one. This is probably one of the a bad movie that I really like. So yeah, that is Body of Evidence. Next up, I picked up a movie that I'd heard of through Lisa Love's channel. I was watching one of her videos, and this movie came up, and I hadn't seen it, so I decided to pick it up and give it a go. And that is The Truth About Cats and Dogs. Really enjoyed this one. Really had fun with it. Very 90s, but yeah, really had fun with it. It was just one of these sort of fun 90s rom-coms with a little bit of a twist, and yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. Had fun with it. Really enjoyed the cast in this one. Janine Garofalo and Uma Thurman were great in it. So yeah, really enjoyed The Truth About Cats and Dogs. Next up, I picked up two titles off the Eureka label, and I had fun with these. Really did. So I picked up Yes Madam and Royal Warriors. Yeah, these were just everything I wanted them to be. Just fun kung fu movies with lots of action, and that's exactly what they both were. Really enjoyed both of them. I know there's another two coming out, I think next month, and I've got them on pre-order. And yeah, sat down, they ticked all the boxes for me that I wanted to get from them, and had an absolute blast with them. So yeah, that is Yes Madam and Royal Warriors. Next up, I picked up a movie from the DC animated universe, and I'm only really sort of collecting these because all the spines match. If you put them together, they sort of form a picture. So picked up Legion of Superheroes. Yeah, had fun with this movie. Not perfect. I think out of these sort of this collection, I'm a big fan of the Long Halloween Pots 1 and 2. But yeah, this movie was fine. I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm a bit disappointed though that Warner Brothers have gone for the more slimline case instead of the standard Amaray, because the previous ones were all that standard Amaray. But yeah, it just doesn't look uniform when you put them together. But it is what it is, I guess. Having it is better than not having it. So yeah, that is Legion of Superheroes. Next up, I've got a movie that I haven't seen yet, but this is nominated for Best Picture, and I've heard very, very mixed things about this film, and that is Triangle of Sadness. Yeah, not seen it. Can't really comment about the film itself yet, but yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I think it's got a good cast. I've heard it's a bit zany, it's a bit off the wall, maybe a little bit outside the box, but yeah, looking forward to checking it out when I do get round to it. So yeah, that is Triangle of Sadness. Next up, I picked up some horror documentaries, the first two being off the 101 Films label. So picked up The Nightmare on Elm Street and the Friday the 13th documentaries, Never Sleep Again and Crystal Lake Memories. Really lengthy, but it didn't feel like it at all. These documentaries leave no stone unturned for their respective film series that they belong to. I grew up with both of these series, Elm Street and Friday the 13th. I still have my VHSs. And yeah, these documentaries just covered all ground possible to do with the films. And yeah, I just absolutely love them. Bit lengthy, but like I said, it just flew by the time while I was watching them because it was just so entertaining. I had to watch them over a couple of nights just because they were so long. But yeah, really, really enjoyed these films. Had an absolute blast with them. And next up, to sort of go as a companion piece with them, I picked up Pennywise, the story of it, just because I was in that mood for, the horror documentaries. And this was great. I grew up watching Stephen King's It, the miniseries. Still have my VHS for this as well. And yeah, this was an absolute blast and a ball to watch and sit through. It was just really, really entertaining. To boot, found out what was going on behind the scenes and seeing the cast nowadays. Yeah, really, really fun, entertaining documentary. So yeah, that is Pennywise, the story of it. Next up, I've got a couple of titles from the Mubi label. 4 titles to be exact, and I've only watched one of them so far, but the other 3 I'm yet to get to. So the first one that I actually have watched is Aftersun. Really, really good movie, this one. A lot of depth to it, very profound. Great soundtrack. The movie looks great as well. It looks, the time period it's supposed to be set in, it really does look like that. And the acting in it is just brilliant, to say the least. Really, really enjoyed this one. The ending's really good as well. And yeah, just really enjoyed the film. Just thought it was great. So yeah, that is Aftersun. Now, these 3 I haven't seen yet. Picked up Cow, just because it looked interesting. It had a good score on IMDb, and it's on the Mubi label. They do put out really nice releases, Mubi. So yeah, picked up Cow. Yet to get to that one though. Next up, I also picked up Bergman Island. Yet to get this. It's got Tim Roth in it. He's a great actor. Enjoy most things he's in. And yeah, again, it was on the Mubi label, so picked that one up. And also the last one was Great Freedom. This is one that had been on my wish list for a while as well. So it had dropped to a decent price. So I just thought, yeah, let's pull the trigger on that one. So yeah, picked up Great Freedom as well. Next up, I picked up a movie that's an upgrade for me, written by Christopher Columbus and produced by Steven Spielberg. And picked up the steelbook of this when it came out, and that is Young Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, it sort of is like an unofficial trilogy for me, this movie, with Gremlins and Goonies, as all 3 are written by Christopher Columbus. But yeah, really, really enjoyed this one. The only thing it's really missing is Corey Feldman. But yeah, this movie's a lot of fun. It's definitely in the same vein as Goonies and Gremlins. It feels like it's cut from the same cloth. But yeah, really, really enjoyed this film. Had a great time with it. So yeah, that is Young Sherlock Holmes. Next up, picked up a movie that came out this year. I think this is a HMV exclusive, and it is Bones and All. Yeah, got a few criticisms with this movie. It's very slow paced, really, really slow. Snail's paced almost at times. But when the violence kicks in, it's really good. It's really creative, and yeah, just it's really gruesome to sit through a lot of the violent cannibal scenes in this movie. Mark Rylance, I've never really been a fan of him. He has won me over with The Outfit, kind of. I really enjoyed that film, but This one, there were just times where he sounded like Herbert the Pervert from Family Guy. I didn't know exactly what he was doing with his voice, but overall, I am giving the movie a positive review and a recommendation. But yeah, this is not going to be for everyone. It really isn't. But I enjoyed it for what it was, and yeah, just had a good time with it for the parts I enjoyed. So yeah, that is Bones and All. Next up, picked up a movie that's again also nominated for Best Picture this year, and that is The Banshees of Inisherin. Um, yeah, had a really good fun time with this movie. There's probably fun is probably not the best word to describe it, but I enjoyed the movie as an experience as a whole. Very harrowing. These two friends who fall out. One of them does not want to be friends anymore. Doesn't even want to speak to the other one. And the movie kind of puts you in sort of both sides where you come to an understanding for each character, but it does, no pun intended, it does get a little out of hand. If you've seen the movie, you'll probably get that. But yeah, it's a really good movie, really well acted, great dialogue, but the ending was just really upsetting for me for some reason. But yeah, enjoyed the film nonetheless though. So yeah, that is The Banshees of Inisherin. Next up, picked up a movie that, again, I'd heard negative reviews from this film, and overall, I've got to say, I didn't hate this movie as much as most, and that is Amsterdam. I thought this movie had a phenomenal cast, and I actually like David O. Russell's other works as well. So I wanted to sit down and give this one a go, and I thought it was decent. I thought it was okay, not perfect, definitely not, but the cast was just enough as a selling point for me to enjoy it. And yeah, it's a little slow, it's a little weird, but overall, yeah, I thought the movie was okay. It was okay at best, but yeah, still enjoyed it for what it was. Yeah, it's a difficult one to explain. It's not without its flaws, definitely not. But overall, I didn't hate this movie. I thought it was fine. Next up, picked up Watcher. Yeah, saw some other YouTubers talking about this one and just decided, what, I'll pull the trigger on it, give it a go. And yeah, it's a really solid movie, really solid thriller. Keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's kind of creepy in places, and yeah, enjoyed it for what it was. Can't say much more about it than that. Definitely check this one out. Again, not perfect, but watchable, no pun intended. And yeah, so yeah, that is The Watcher, or Watcher. Next up, picked up a Disney movie. I've not seen this one yet, but I've not heard the greatest things about it. Picked up Disney Strange World. Yeah, just got this one because it's number 60 in the classics. I've collected all of those, and yeah, just yet to watch this one. Haven't heard the best of things about it. Heard this is really boring, one of Disney's worst. But yeah, gonna give it a go soon. So yeah, that is Strange World. Next up, speaking of Disney, picked up from Marvel Studios, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I've slapped this in one of those standard Amaray ones because I can't stand the fact now that the MCU movies are coming out in these thinner blue cases. Yeah, the movie itself, I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was pretty good. I think the production of the movie, though, was dealt a horrible hand, obviously, with the passing of Chadwick Boseman. It can't be easy to, obviously make a movie when the lead from the previous one has passed away. But I think this movie handled it really, really well and did the best it could. It's got some fantastic action sequences in this film, particularly one on the bridge. I just thought the fight sequences were just incredible. And yeah, it's a bit slow in places. It does take a long time for the Black Panther part of this movie to kick in. But yeah, I think given the situation and how things were, I think the movie handled it the best it could. Not perfect, but yeah, it's one of the better ones from me from the Phase 4 series of films. So yeah, that is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Next up, I picked up a movie from the Kino Laba label. And I wanted to pick this movie up because it has a real tragic story behind it when the movie got released. The movie itself in question is scenes from the class struggle of Beverly Hills. So if anyone who doesn't know about this film or what happened after this film was brought out, there was an actress called Rebecca Schaeffer who she was up and coming at the time. The movie came out in 1989, and she was an up and coming actress. Had her own TV show. She was appearing in some movies, and sadly, she was shot and killed by her stalker in California. And this movie is I think it's going to be like the biggest movie that she's going to be known for, because she was pretty much murdered straight after this movie's release. It was just a tragic shame. I'm going to leave a link to a video in the description if you want to find out more about it. By Grim Life Collective, they do some fantastic and amazing content. You know, they sort of make little mini documentaries about, you know, tragedies that happen in Hollywood and in movies, and they go and visit specific sites where things happened. But yeah, if you're interested in it, do check it out, because they just cover so much in such a short amount of time. And it was just a crying shame, because this stalker found out where she lived, and he just point blank murdered her straight up. And it's just absolutely tragic. But this was the movie that really sort of triggered him, shall we say, to do what he did. And I watched it and I thought the movie was good. I thought the movie was fine. It was definitely interesting. It's not perfect. It's not great, but I enjoyed it for what it was. And again, it was that tragedy that really sort of sparked my interest in seeking this movie out and give it a go. And yeah, it's got some fun, you know, cast members in it, like Ed Begley Jr. and Wallace Shaw. But yeah, enjoyed it for what it was. Not perfect, but it's definitely worth checking out if you've not seen it. So yeah, that is scenes from the class struggle in Beverly Hills. Next up, picked up a movie that was, funnily enough, recommended to me by Terence McGuana, and I finally pulled the trigger on the Blu-ray, and that is The Silent Partner, starring Elliot Gould and Christopher Plummer. This only arrived today, so I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I've heard nothing but great things about it. I'm really, really looking forward to giving this a go. So yeah, that is The Silent Partner. Next up, this also arrived today. I managed to sort of print myself an English cover for this, and that is Renegades, starring Kiefer Sutherland and Lou Diamond Phillips. Love these two actors. Think they're just absolutely great. So entertaining to watch. And yeah, know nothing about the film itself, so I'm looking forward to giving it a watch when I get round to it. So yeah, those are all of the Blu-ray pickups. But like I said at the beginning of the video, only picked up 2 4Ks this month, so getting into those. The first one I picked up was Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans. Yeah, enjoyed this film on the whole. I do think it has its issues. I do think it has its problems. I wasn't a fan of Michelle Williams in this film at all, to be honest. I don't think it was really her acting abilities that I didn't like. It was more her character. She just kind of reminded me of a modern day Lady Macbeth. She was just going a bit insane and a bit kooky, and I just couldn't really get on board with that at all. But the rest of the movie I really, really dug. I like these type of movies where it's just like you can see someone's passion for filmmaking and how they fall in love with film and want to become a filmmaker. And yeah, that's exactly what this movie is. It's just a wonderful film from Spielberg. Even though I do have my issues and problems with it, I overall did enjoy the movie. So yeah, that is The Fabelmans. And the last 4K and title that I picked up this month was the Halloween trilogy on 4K. My word, if this trilogy hasn't been butchered enough. But yeah, I'm gonna say my thoughts about it. I like this these movies. I don't like this trilogy, but I like these movies because I think as a trilogy it's horrible. It doesn't work. It's a train crash in terms of storytelling and 3-act structure that a trilogy should have. If you are, you know, wanting to tell a story over the course of 3 movies, this is not an example to use at all with that regard. It's awful. But individually, I find all 3 movies entertaining on some level. I enjoy each movie separately. And yeah, I have fun with these films. I really do. That's all I can say about it. I think the second one and the third one I've had a lot of hate, and I'm not arguing that. I'm not saying that hate isn't justified. It absolutely is. But for me, I got some enjoyment from these movies. I really did. I can completely understand everyone's criticism about them, but overall, when I put these movies on, I have a good time. I have a good time with them, and it's it's not a shame that other people don't, but I do get it. I do get people's frustrations. I do get people's criticisms with these movies, particularly parts 2 and 3. Yeah, absolutely understand and completely get it. But when I put the movies on, I do have a good time with them. And it's just it is a shame that majority of people don't get that from these movies. I'm not saying you should, but yeah, it's all I'm saying is I get it. I get the criticisms and I get the hate for them. I really, really do, because these movies aren't perfect, but I do find them entertaining, to say the least. And that's all I can really say about them. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, those are all of my Blu-ray and 4K pickups for the month of February 2023. So yeah, gonna leave the video there, guys, and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.